good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, I had a voice for radio, and today we are looking at a ridiculous card. And I mean that very sincerely when I say this card's a joke. There ain't no clickbait going on here, ladies and gentlemen. It literally is a joke. That's kind of the point of the card. And I love it, and it's awesome. Now, the card is... It's Abareru-Kun. 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 I'm going to be honest, right? I'll link his Twitter in the comment section or in the description. It is somebody who features on Pokemon TV shows over in Japan, and it's a card about him. Now, this isn't, of course, the first time we've seen this. We did have Imakuni a little while ago, and, I mean, again, right, Imakuni was not a sensible card. Imakuni confused your active Pokemon. And yeah, sure, there's some Pokemon that do stuff when they're confused, but generally speaking, right, it's not a good card. It was there as a little homage to a real person who makes Pokemon fun. Well, that's what we've got here as well. Now, it is quite difficult to get. We'll get to that in a moment, but we have had a translation from the lovely David Hochmann here, and it says, and I kid you not, get it? Tell your opponent a joke. If they laugh, draw 3 cards. Now, just on the offset here, obviously, this is not going to be legal for tournament play. There would be carnage if this was legal for tournament play. I mean, we all know people, they might be you, who frankly tell jokes which are not suitable for all audiences. Do you really want those jokes being busted out essentially in front of children at a tournament? I personally don't. I don't think that's a good idea. So, okay, there is that. The other problem is here, this could be used for so much stalling. If you win game 1, then, generally speaking, Game 2 is very much in your control. Most of the time, we play 45 minutes plus 3 turns in Swiss. So if you can win Game 1 in, say, 25 minutes, if Game 2 is not completed, by which I mean someone has achieved a win condition, within the 20 minutes left, the game doesn't finish, ergo, the winner of Game 1 wins the match. So what you can do here is essentially take your time. Now, here's to be 100% clear, slow playing is wrong and it is against the rules, and you can be, well, disqualified from the tournament. But this allows you to really waste time, because most of us know some really, really long jokes. And if you can tell that really long joke, then all of a sudden you've wasted 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes. And then maybe you use another one of these and tell another joke. Maybe you play a Power Pad or a Lucamine to recover it. And then you can basically waste a huge amount of time. Clearly it's wrong. Clearly you shouldn't. And clearly those 2 issues, the jokes might not be suitable and the jokes might take too long, are reasons why this can't be legal in tournament play. Also, you've got the issue of define laugh. If your opponent smiles, can you claim they laugh? If you say they laugh, but then they claim they didn't and they call a judge, how do you prove it? This card would be a nightmare to actually use in tournament play. Although how much more fun and delightful would it make the game? Imagine if everyone was just spending their games trying to make their opponents laugh. Does that not sound like a wonderful, wonderful world? And I'm going to ask you this at the end, but obviously I want all of your best jokes. Put them in the comment section. Please keep them clean. Imagine you're at a Pokemon tournament. These comment sections videos are intended to be all ages. I mean, look, even if you make your opponent laugh, it's how. And it's just not particularly good. If you want to draw 3 cards, you can use how. That's not really the point. And then we've got those cards where you can draw 4, and there's a whole bunch that let you draw 4. It's just, well, very few of them, well, I mean, all of them have really awkward situations you need to hit. So Sophocles is a classic example here. Sure, you can draw 4 cards, but you've got to discard 2 cards from your hand before. So look, this isn't a good draw card. It's not supposed to be a good draw card, but actually, It's here for other reasons. And there are a couple of other cards that interact with this absolutely beautifully. So Sabrina's Suggestion, we looked at this, well, yesterday, I think? I think the way they're being uploaded, it was yesterday. And Sabrina's Suggestion says, look at your opponent's hand and essentially copy a supporter card that you find there. Now, if your opponent looks at your hand and finds multiple supporter cards, they have a choice then of which one they choose to use. But if you've only got this, they have to use this. Which means, and this would be an adorable thing to do, but keep one of these in your hand so that if your opponent plays a Sabrina Suggestion, they have to tell you a joke. How cool would this be? David Hochmann, of course our lovely translator here, did also come up with the idea of Hypno, although I believe he got it from somebody else on Twitter. And for one psychic energy, your opponent reveals his or her hand. You may choose a supporter card you find there. If you do, your opponent plays that supporter card. However, you make all decisions for that card. So essentially, and I think this is how it would work, although it's a really weird interaction. You would look at your opponent's hand and they would have this card. And then, well, hang on a second, you're making all the decisions, so you tell a joke. And if your opponent laughs, they get to draw 3 cards? Or I suppose it would be you tell a joke, and if you laugh, you draw 3 cards. And you just don't laugh. It's a weird one. That would be a very strange interaction. I believe you would tell the joke, and then you would get to decide whether to laugh or not, although it is a very, very strange one. This is a ridiculous card, which is clearly not meant to be played seriously, although I would love to see this played in tournaments. Now, the lovely Primal Lugia has hit us up to give us some information about this, and essentially, what you do is you take a code that you get in packs of Tag Bolt, and then well, he thinks it's a mail away, but it may well be that you put it in on a website in Japan, and then essentially you have to be selected to get that card, and I think it's limited to 5,000 copies. There's literally like 5,000 copies being given worldwide. So, look, it's not going to be something a lot of people have, and even the people that have it aren't going to be able to use it in tournaments, but it's still kind of fun. Now, obviously, I've got to tell you a joke in this video. It would be rude if I didn't. And what I thought would be fun was to try and tell you a fairly long joke. I'll tell you a short version, but you'll easily see how it could be elongated, just to show how this card could be totally abused to slow down games. So there's 100 ugly people on a bus, and it goes off a cliff, and tragically they're all killed. And they go to the gates of heaven, and St. Peter's standing there. Obviously, this joke is a Christian-themed joke, but please feel free to adapt it to any religion you would prefer. And St. Peter goes, right, you guys have all had a very bad life. You've all lived a life being terribly ugly people. I'm going to give you one wish as you come into heaven to make up for the fact that you've lived such an ugly life. So the first person goes up to St. Peter and they go, right, I've lived my whole life as an ugly person. I want to know what it's like to be beautiful. Make me beautiful. And St. Peter goes, you got it. Makes them beautiful. And the guy at the back kind of cracks a little bit of a smile. So then the second person goes up and they go, you know what, that's a really good idea. I would also like to be beautiful. St. Peter, make me beautiful. And St. Peter does, and the guy at the back starts smiling a little bit more. And this carries on, person 3, person 4, person 5, person 6, and the more people go up, they all make the same request, I want to be beautiful. St. Peter makes them beautiful, and the guy at the back looks happier and happier until he starts laughing, and the laughing gets more and more. And person number 99 goes up, and he says, St. Peter, make me beautiful. St. Peter makes him beautiful, and by this guy, person number 100 at the back, is just in absolute floods of tears. He's laughing, he's crying, he's having a whale of a time, and St. Peter goes, come on then, stop your giggling, what's your wish? And he goes, make them all ugly again. It's one of my favourite jokes. It's so mean, but it is a joke at the end of the day. It's not based on a real situation. You could make that joke take an awful lot longer than I just did. And now imagine you're playing 4 of these plus Pal Pad. Ladies and gentlemen, yeah. That could really elongate games. No, this isn't a card which is supposed to be playing in tournaments, but it's cool and it's limited to 5,000 in the world. It's going to be very expensive and it's so much fun. I had to bring you a video about it. But at this stage, I want two things from you, ladies and gentlemen. I want to know what you think about this card, and I want every single person watching this video to pop their favourite joke in the comment section, while please keeping it clean. And then, of course, okay, I mean, we don't need to give us a Wassy score, right? I'm giving it 5 Wassies because it's amazing. As a playable card, 2 Wassies. But as a curiosity and a fun card, it's a 5 Wassy card. But at this stage, comment section, let's do this. Let's get some jokes going on. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at The Wassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all of that, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. And do make sure that you're checking out youtube.com/WassyPlays for some more Wassy action. But by far the most important thing, as always, is to look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.